Here we go. We're going live. I'm in a wacky mood. I may regret this later, but it's Halloween week. We got a HYROX coming in a few days here in Atlanta, and we got a jam-packed show of guests and topics. And I put some creepy-ish Halloween music that I'm now going to turn down.
Oh, thank God.
And at some point in the next few minutes, I have to get up and make my kids food. Because 2 minutes ago, when I asked them if they wanted me to make dinner, they said no. And the minute I hit record, it's like, can you make us something to eat?
How old are they?
Jackson's 16, River's 12.
Let them starve.
Listen, I'm happy to. All right. I'm happy to say fend for yourself, but I told Stacy I would make them something, and I want to keep my word, like Janelle Teal out
That's
there,
right.
keeping her word. We're going to get to that. If you're not watching this live, I will say that Dave is to my right, and I can't even read your thing. What does it say?
I may have DOMs.
May have DOMs.
Hey.
Cheryl is the LT winner. And we got Minnesota Nice coming in hot.
Yeah.
Back to the show. Lauren Rentala, who we saw. So we got a bunch of things to get onto, but I want to quickly talk about Atlanta HYROX because some people might tune in just for that. And we'll give it to them right away. So the map came out, and I went to publish a fun post, and I realized that on the website it said Building C, which was last year's building. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll put same place as last time. Then you open the map, and it says Building B, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with what's on the map. Must be correct. Then, without really looking to see if it made sense, I wrote that thing about what they wrote, which was go in the second time you see. First of all, if it's 1 through 7, I don't know why they just don't keep it 1 through 7. But for some reason, they always have 1 and then 2 through 7 separate. This is for all races, even if it's the same amount of laps. It would make sense if the first run was 3 laps and then the 2nd through 7 was 2. So anyway, then it says for station 8, go in the second time you see the wall ball arch, which actually is extremely confusing because there's not, in fact, a separate entrance for wall ball. So if you didn't go in it till the second time you saw it, you would, in fact, have to come around all the way again and come in on the third. So I wrote HYROX, and they have fixed the website to say which building is correct. So you're welcome, the world. And I've been told they're fixing the directions on the laps. So if you go to the website right now, it doesn't even say anything about laps. So I'm waiting for it to refresh. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah. So you said that they always put one. So for lap 1, go in on the second, and then you said 2 through 7 or 2 through 8 going on the second.
No, they
right?
say 2 through 7. They always keep 1 and 8 separate.
Okay. So I understand actually on the 1 because the starting place is not the same as the out, and people will always come and ask, well, what about on the first lap? So they're preemptively strike on that one. Gotcha.
Okay.
So that's my thing. I'm coming to HYROX's defense.
Look at you coming to HYROX's defense. And then I quickly just want to talk about, there's a shakeout that I was so excited to put on the Halloween shakeout, thinking this was like last year where we all gather on Friday and then race on Saturday and Sunday. No, this is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend. So the shakeout would need to be the Thursday. And before I could even do anything, stuff's happening. So Union Performance Academy, which
I know them.
Lauren was just there. They are putting on a cool shakeout run on the Beltline. So I'll be reposting that soon. But in case this is your only time, it's 828 Ralph McGill. They have a massive parking lot. You do have to pay for it. It's a couple bucks. But then you park, you go into the gym. We'll go for a little run on the Beltline. And I think they'll have a little Q&A for all your questions. So show up to that if you're in town. I think Bubbles is getting in town early, so he might join me for that. And then the other thing is, who wants to come to Atlanta? Who wants to put down a good time in Atlanta? Do you guys know who's coming so far?
No.
I think Marcus, who I just saw, and now I forgot who else. I was really hoping you guys knew.
That was depth.
Ryan Kent's coming.
Ryan Kent is coming. Kat Fassbender's coming. I swear I thought I knew these.
Yes, Pat Fassbender's coming.
All right.
Ryan Kent on his on their podcast this week just announced that he's going to DEKA Worlds. So let's go.
There you go.
So that means Yancey gave him some money, like paid him what he was owed.
There was no extra information, but I think that he's feeling good, and I think he's starting in Atlanta. He's doing Dallas. He's going to be at DEKA Worlds. He's got a lot going on, so good for him.
Okay.
I would like to at any event.
I mean, I feel like I knew a bunch of people, and so now I've forgotten people who have told me.
I think a lot of people are going to be there.
She'll be there in Atlanta, and I'm sure Tommy and Coach will be there as well. But Cheryl, who else is coming?
I think anybody who's an American who's trying to get a time is probably going to be there.
I don't know. I feel like Chicago and Dallas are the big ones, though. Those seem to be the big ones. I heard a lot of Chicago and Dallas this weekend.
Yes. I mean, Atlanta never sells out. I don't know what it is about you guys.
This is only our second event. Jeez Louise.
Anyway.
Not looking good for a third one.
Well, I just think it was foolish. Like, why jump ahead to the 3 days? Why not just like, hey, let's try 2 days, see what happens?
Right.
Like that's
anyway. I think you're right about Chicago. I think that's probably going to be more popular.
Okay. All righty. So let's move on to what else did I want to say about Atlanta? Hang on. I'll be there. You'll see me. I'm racing on Sunday morning. Nice. And then the pros are racing Sunday night. Sorry, the women are Saturday night, and then the men are Sunday night. When I say night, I mean afternoon, because it's not that late. But I can't tell anymore because they removed the thing. Somebody sent it to me earlier. Hang on. Let me look at it real quickly.
I think you should just make up things for people who are going, because like no one's really going to hold you accountable anyway. Like if you just like I don't know, Sidney Crosby is going to be running, and
Sidney Crosby, that's what I heard.
Sidney Crosby is going to be there. I heard that.
Sid the Kid, sure.
Yeah, Donald Trump will be running in Atlanta. A lot of people are saying he's the fastest HYROX around.
A lot of people are saying it.
He's not saying it, but a lot of people are saying it. Is there anybody else? I don't know. Lauren, are you running in Atlanta?
I'm not.
No.
So that's why I know nothing.
No, neither do I.
Lauren, what HYROXes are you looking at? Are you doing Chicago?
I'm actually not doing Chicago, but I signed up for Dallas. I think Dallas was the first one that they opened registration for after Toronto, right?
I think so.
Yes, and so it's.
I wasn't planning on doing it because I've been injured, and then I was checking out like what the process was like to register because I was curious, and I was actually like sitting in the waiting room at my doctor's appointment, and I like couldn't resist. I like signed up, and I was like, oh, what if I'm better by then? And I actually think I'm going to be able to run in Dallas.
So the wheel's doing good.
Yeah, I mean it's. I'm cautiously optimistic, but it's getting there.
Did you?
She jumped a bunch this weekend.
Oh, I know. So I haven't hardly ran at all, but it's definitely looking promising that I'll be able to complete it at least. That's the goal.
Well, we're going to talk to you more. Hey, Jackson, do you want to throw that stuff in the stove? You can if you want, by the way, buddy. To be continued. Dave, we want to hear about your event. We obviously have a lot to talk about with the event we were at, but we want to hear about your event.
Yeah. So I did a Deadly Dozen Strong, like my first ever Deadly Dozen event. I did 3 in one day.
Okay. Which ones did you do?
So I did, I started the morning, Ryan and I did a doubles. That was a ton of fun. Really enjoyed that.
Tell me the doubles format for Deadly Dozen Strong.
Which whenever you want.
Is it just sharing the work? Okay.
Bam, bam, bam. But it is the men's weight. So she had to actually do the men's weights for that. So that was a bit of a challenge. To be honest, I don't think we were completely prepared for going in. But we did good. We ended up we are actually second on the leaderboard. The global leaderboard there. Nice. So that was okay. That was a pleasant surprise.
Did they flatten out the leaderboard? Is it like they're not going to confuse it with other ones? Like, remember that was a deal before?
It seemed pretty straightforward. I just have the link for the Deadly Strong leaderboard and went there, and it was pretty straightforward. It worked pretty well.
Okay.
And then I did a solo a couple hours after.
Okay.
That, you know what? I overpaced it. Like I took my time too much.
Oh, you went too slow?
Yeah, I took too, like I really wanted to not blow up for the end. So I kind of overpaced it. And then I was waiting for to hammer my shoulders to do this. I was waiting for a lot of things to happen that they said was going to happen. And I overthought it. Right. And then, but I will say the bear crawl was, I thought the bear crawl was done halfway through it. And that was probably where it started to hit me a little bit, but it never did hit my shoulders the way that they say
how long is how many down and backs?
Meters?
How many down and backs was your setup?
It was only 10 meters. So 10 meter down, 10 meter back.
Yeah. Cause I remember hating that. I did it with Clayton. And I remember like by the time we got to a few of them, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like I got like the first couple I did pretty quick. And then I got like halfway and was like, oh
yeah.
So it's like 6, right? It's like down and back 6 times. Down and back
6 times. Yeah.
That could get old. Yeah. After like 3, I can.
So, and I mean, if I'm going to break out my critiquing hat, I think that should probably be half as long as it is, but that's just my own personal preference. Right.
Yeah. But then nobody's complaining. Yeah. I mean,
I gotta,
you want to think you want to get, I think it's at least 1 or 2 stations. You have to be like, this is stupid, right? Like you have to really not like it.
Right.
But it wasn't matter that
like a carry over your head. You can deal with, even BBJ.
I just thought the flow, it kind of
flows things up.
I don't know, just my personal preference. I would have thought that
it's like the tank push and pull in DEKA that all of a sudden it feels like everything comes to a halt.
Yeah.
And you're just there for like 2 or 3 times as long as every other station.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of just but anyway, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but anyway, and then I went on and finished, and I had a really fast kick at the end for the devil press, but it was too late to get a great time. But I mean, I checked my time, and I think I'm 5th in age. So
what are you complaining about?
Oh, because I thought I should have been quicker. 30.
You should be 4th or 3rd.
39.
And how does that compare to your DEKA strong time?
Oh,
37.
So the reason I asked is because typically it's double.
It would have been a lot more than double actually. So my PR on a DEKA strong is 1307, I think, or 1317. And then
more, I guess.
Well, yeah, and like I said, I overpaced it so bad at the beginning that I wasted a lot of time.
But isn't that sort of the point of
mistakes?
But I feel like that's sort of the point of the first event of anything is like
gathering information,
right? Like, okay, I like most of us, it's the opposite, right? We kill ourselves and go, oh, okay, don't do that next time. So, but no, I think it's always frustrating to feel like you had something left in the tank, but it's like, okay, I can. And
I also had just 2 hours before done doubles, and then I knew I had kind of a third thing to do as well. So I wasn't terribly disappointed. It was just a little off what I'd hoped for.
And then what was the third thing?
So we had a friend, Sue Rice.
Okay, I do know.
Who she's had a bit of a shoulder issue because her and her husband were going to do a partners together, but she couldn't.
Her husband, John
Cross, because her shoulder was down. So we just threw together a 4-person relay, unofficial. It's not a real thing. We just went at it and had an absolute riot.
So it's not so, but you're number 1 on that leaderboard.
We're world record holders.
For the Deadly Dozen Strong Relay.
That's right. World record holders for the Deadly Dozen.
Congratulations.
Which I did find out that they actually do have one. Lauren, correct me if I'm wrong. For the field event, they do have a relay, don't they?
World record?
No, a relay. Oh
yeah. I don't know what the record is, but yes, there's a relay.
It's not.
That'd be fun.
We don't have that record.
Yeah, with the 2 or 3. How many Deadly Dozens have you been to? The 2 or 3 that I've been to don't have a massive relay category. It's like in HYROX, it's a massive category, and Deadly, it's always like 2 or 3 teams at the end of the day. Yeah. Like they all make the podium.
But I mean, I think HYROX too, their relays came in slow as well, and then it felt a bit. But I will say though, the biggest thing is that big thing takeaways for me was again, Pure Impact put on a great event. They always do a good job. Zach and Amber did awesome. Had a great time. Lots of cool people. Had good fun. Ready for this? The best standards for judging of any Deadly Dozen I've ever seen.
Good.
There you go.
Were you in charge of said judging?
I was not in charge, but I may have contributed. And I will say the other thing about the concept, a really great value, like dollar for dollar. Like shit's getting so expensive, and dollar for dollar was just an excellent value. I did like for us, I think like the doubles was like $50, and that's 50 Canadian. So
is that what it's supposed to be? Lauren, do they let you set your own prices? How does that go for gym events, Lauren?
No, it's standardized.
Okay.
Yeah.
Standardized. So whatever the conversion rate is for Canadian dollars to us.
Yeah. So I mean, I thought it was a good value. I had a great time, good value. As always, when I do look at some things, and even though I say it was some of the best judging I've seen for Deadly Dozen, there was some issues here and there. And going through the rule book, there are some things that I would really clean up. But all in all, I had a great time, and would definitely go back and do it again. But I would focus on the doubles with Rye. I had more fun with that.
What do you think needs to change for the rules? And do you mean as a whole for Deadly or just for the gym events?
No, as a whole.
What do you think? What's the gap?
Well, I mean, there's a few things like, and I mean, I watched all the videos that Jason did, and like some of the things where they're talking about extension in the arms, and they're like, if you can't do it, just tell your judge. Right. And I'm like, well, that's kind of hard to run a competitive wave that way. It's like I always call that kind of like being a little bit pregnant, right? Like it's competitive, but you can kind of adjust the standards. It used to be a term I used for Tough Mudder. But so there's some things like that. I'd have to go through it again, like verbatim to list off exactly the ones, but there's just some things that I would
listen.
I
learned,
burpees, for example, there's no real guideline to where your hands need to go on the way down.
I want to talk about this because, I come to fitness racing as a babe in the woods, right? Like I came to obstacle racing pretty new to running and learned a lot about that in the last decade or so. And, not in the gym a lot before all this. And so at the beginning of the walkthrough for LT games, they were talking about if you have this wonky shoulder and you can't express the standard, you need to tell us. And then we know to only be looking at this shoulder, which I thought, well, how does that work? And they're like, oh no, that's a thing. Like they do it at the CrossFit Games. Like if you literally, because of a surgery or something, again, they're still at the end of the day going to be looking at the other arm. But if you literally can't do it, then you're not supposed to be penalized for not being able to do it, which again, I spent several minutes asking why that wasn't unfair to someone who has to do it the proper way.
Anatomical inability to like straighten your arm.
Correct.
So like you have to tell your judge ahead of time if you truly can't get an extension of the elbow, then before you start, you have to show them this is as far as I can go. And the judge is supposed to hold them to that standard as opposed to like.
And look at the other arm to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But my problem with that is people lie.
That's what I was thinking too. I could have shown my judge anything, right? And be like, this is all I can do. So,
but I think the point is like people who like fine, be a POS and do that. But most people like they're going to show and it's going to be obvious. Like, oh, look, you know what I mean? Like you want to try to, if you want to be like in Big Lebowski, when they made the guy get out of the chair, like you can walk, like they like to bend your arm, but it made sense. The way he was explaining it to me made perfect sense once he explained it the way he explained it.
Well, and it feels adaptive, right?
What's
like
that?
It feels adaptive, right? Like adaptive athletes, they have a set of parameters based on what their abilities are, right?
Right.
If and this feels similar.
Right. We're talking like, millimeters, right? We're not talking like, oh, this arm's going to do this while this one's up here, right?
Right.
But say that the way you said it, like you can't anatomically express it. Again, I can Google or ask my friend chat later what it means, but I'd never heard of it. But apparently, again, like in CrossFit, it's a thing.
And it's a thing in Deadly Dozen, is what you're saying, Dave, right?
Or the rule isn't written very well, though, is what we're saying.
Well, I'm saying that is a thing that they make.
I think like if you're a contender to be like a winner, then like the conversation has to be different. But if you have some, like if it's one of the top 3 people saying, oh, I can only straighten my arm this far, it's going to have to be, I mean, obviously it's still going to be judge's discretion, but like you have to take that into account. Just like for how we say for HYROX, like if you're in the open division and you're just trying to finish the race and people are going to, like not make you actually be as strict as you would be for like the pros,
Yeah, I think there is a way around it.
I'm sure there is, but I'm just saying.
No. I mean, like a compromise where those people who cannot, like you say, due to anatomic limitations. Thank you. Can't quite extend. In my mind, I will, and I've talked about this before, is add extra reps.
Ooh.
So but how is that fair?
Because if you don't have to extend as far as I do, your rep is easier and faster than mine. Therefore, you should do more.
Right. But the whole point is that it isn't, because you're still doing the work with the other arm and you literally can't,
And what if it's both arms?
Well, then you shouldn't be doing the race. I would say you need to go home, sir.
There's a lot of people out there that'll go into these races, and I think you guys will back me up on this, that cannot fully extend. Or they say they cannot fully extend or will not fully extend.
No, I think that's not true. I don't think that's true.
100%.
I don't think they
judge thousands of people on RAM burpees. I see a lot of not extendings and a lot of people saying
but not because they're not physically able to.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people say they can't physically do it.
Oh, okay. I've not seen that.
Yeah, it happens quite often. And that's why I say that to make an allotment for that so that everybody's on an equal playing field is that's the way I think it should be done.
All right.
Well, I know my husband, head wall ball judge, it got really, really common last season for people to come rolling into wall balls and just immediately say, my knees won't let me squat to depth, right? Like, give me the bucket, right? Like they're asking. And I think if you were to say, hey, that's great, that's going to add X amount of reps to the wall balls, then they can take that, right? Like, I do think that would balance it out.
Yeah, but see, I think that's another, I think that's a whole nother thing. Like, there was a guy, and listen, I liked him. He's a fan for me going way back. And I saw him come screaming in at that sim I was at, give me the bucket. And I was like, I think there's got to be a minimum effort shown, which again, it's like, how do you define it? It gets gray, but we can't have that. And he's an age grouper, but like, he's clearly giving it his all. So try to give it your all without the bucket first, or the square, or whatever they call it. But I feel like we've spent a lot of time on that, and we have a lot to get to. So are we ready to move on to Lauren's Deadly Dozen full in Chicago?
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on. Lauren's here. She's
Hello.
Minnesota nice, even though she's so nasty when I hang out with her. She's always like so mean. Where's Cheryl? Where's Cheryl? Fuck Matt. That's all I got this weekend.
Maybe that's a commentary on you and not her.
Well, listen, it used to be just you, Dave. Now clearly it's the community. Like, we're so happy Cheryl's here. Great. I'm chopped liver over here.
Yeah, but Dave doesn't talk enough, so there's that.
Yeah, but for one guy, Dave doesn't talk enough. He talks plenty. So, number 2, Chicago, lay it on us.
It was great. So the biggest thing, our last event was in June, and it was extremely hot in June, just like way out of like normal Chicago hot weather. And it was not uncommon for someone to have a 20-minute PR this weekend, because it was like 50, maybe 45 or 50 degrees. I would say people had like at least 5 to 10 minutes PRs. I mean, it was nasty in June. It was brutal. Like, it was to the point where I was ready to have like an ambulance on site just in case. Like, I was worried about that. And then this year, everyone was like doing so much better just as the temperature. And I told them like at the start, I'm like, you guys are pretty much a guaranteed PR with this weather.
Just in case you're going to brag on your Facebook and social later that you got your 12-minute PR, I'm going to tell you right now, it's temperature related.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Berlin of Deadly Dozen.
There you go.
But it went great. I mean, like, we have such a good community, and every time I do an event, I just stand behind it again, because like Mark and I, our goal, bringing it to the United States it was a lot of it had to do with it just being challenging to get into HYROX and not only having one in Chicago, one per year. And then not everyone being able to get in that. It was frustrating for me as a trainer, like, to have clients that wanted to compete and race and they couldn't get in. So that's when I reached out to Jason last September, and we made things happen. So I mean, I love it. I love to be able to, so many people that never thought they'd ever cross the finish line do. And like, that's what it's all about to me, is just making that fitness racing accessible to your like regular person. So that's what I'm all about for it.
I want to figure out, how we can get more people to them.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I know that your turnout was about the same as last time, a little more, and it's a amazing event and super accessible. And like, if you think about all the people that were like, oh, wow, I was so excited for LT games because I heard about it on the show, which is what we hear, right? Like, I feel like we did a pretty great job of like helping putting them on the map, right? Not a lot of hybrid fitness people were like following the Lifetime accounts, right? So Deadly, we talk about all the time. And, you know, JK had an episode. JK had a race in Australia and they had like over 400. And so it's like, you know, I've talked to Jason and Jason was like, I think we're going to do less events in America next year, but put more marketing behind them. And I said, you already aren't doing that many events in America. Why don't we do more events and put more money behind them? So what do you guys think? Because again, like we're talking about it a lot. And then regionally, you guys are talking about it in Chicago and the guys down in Texas, I think are doing a pretty good job. You can always do a better job, right? There's always more social you could do and et cetera, et cetera. But before I hear from you, Lauren, I want to hear from Cheryl and Dave why we think people aren't like, cool, how can I get to one? Why isn't it at my gym? Like why the buzz isn't there?
Dave, you go first.
Honestly, I think that if we had the answer for that, we could make a lot of money. I don't think it's super simple. I mean, right now, the States is a very different market, and as well as Canada. And I think we're in the UK, they've bought in so much into any race. I'm going to any race. I'm doing anything. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. A lot of times I find in the States and in Canada, and so North America, we want the big names. You know, we want to go to the big names, and we know HYROX and people know DEKA is further down, and then Deadly doesn't, you know, now it's like, well, that's not the name brand. I want the name brand because so many people jumping in these races are there for the name, like because of what it is. It's because it's trendy, because it's popular. So I think that might be, it's just a problem with the market. So the question is, how do you crack that? How do you become that trendy thing? And like I said, if I had that answer, I could make a lot of money off having that answer. And I don't think I do.
All right, Cheryl.
Oh, Cheryl, go first.
So, you know, LT has been good for me because it's given me, and you know, I always like, I've got sort of criteria for events, right? Like that, there are things that I'm looking for. Is it pretty? Does it feel like a party? Is it, you know, I've got a list.
Will they give me an amazing giant cup that I can barely fit in my luggage?
No, that was a problem, wasn't it? Yeah. I like
soccer moms. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Dude, I've listened. I've gotten many a swag bag. This one was pretty fucking good.
And so we'll get to that. But look, I think for me,
soccer moms.
For Christ, it's like a big Stanley Cup, right? For me, there's kind of a checklist that I'm looking for, and when I think of Deadly Dozen, I think it's the marketing, and I think they haven't done a good enough job yet of kind of showing that it's cool. And we don't see a lot of coverage like on Instagram. We don't have cool photos. We don't have cool footage from, you know, people just kind of word of mouth, putting stuff out there on their accounts. It feels kind of small and not like a party. And that doesn't mean it's not. It just means that we're not getting that message. And so I think there's a marketing issue. I think the race seems plenty hard. I'm sure it's going to sting. I'm going next year, right? I'm sure it's going to be an issue. But right now, like, am I going to feel cool going there? I don't think I'm going to feel as cool as I felt at LTV.
I can tell you that you're going to feel the challenge that you just felt when I said, do you want to do doubles at LT? And you said, no, I want to conquer this. Right. I think the amount of upper body taxing and shoulder work that it taxes, that's going to light your fire.
No, and I'm going to be really excited to train for it and all that sort of stuff. And so then add the layer of, yeah, this is the place to be. Like, this is cool, right? This looks really cool, you know, that kind of thing. I think they've done a few things that are neat. Like, I love the little necklaces that you get, and, you know, stuff like that. Like they have done some things, but it's not coming across on social media where it's like, oh man, everybody's talking about it, right? So I do think that there's a marketing issue, and maybe they don't have to do that in the UK because The UK is just going to go to everything, and it's.
But just
smaller.
so you know, it's also South Africa and Australia, like that. As soon as
everybody's on it,
as soon as they launched it, people are going.
And
Hundreds.
I would say maybe it's because America's so big, but Australia is kind of big too. So it isn't that, right? So it's not like I have to fly to Chicago to get to it. It's just I really think we need to have things be kind of cool and pretty, and they haven't put enough into that to sort of show that. That would be my thought.
All right, Lauren.
I agree with you both 100%. And I think like it is the marketing and the market. So if you guys remember in 2021, when I worked for HYROX, Mark and I were begging people to sign up, and we were begging people to take a free ticket to come to HYROX. So we were literally like, I'm the first in Dallas 2021 at my gym. I had 20 free relay tickets to give out. It's like, oh, your challenge is to get 20 people to do the relay. And it was so hard to get people to actually do it. So like it took HYROX a long time to kick off in the United States. And I think that we're forgetting like we're in our own little bubble of hybrid fitness. And Cheryl will know because we were in the locker room talking to my mom and some other lady, and she had no idea. Like she's never heard of HYROX. She's never heard of fitness racing.
This was one of Cheryl's notes, right?
I don't think so.
You said that we need a paradigm shift.
So, oh yeah, we talked about that for sure.
Just let Lauren cook.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So I think that like the hybrid fitness scene is still a bubble. HYROX in the United States is still, people still don't know what it is in Chicago. It's the U.S. headquarters for HYROX. Many people don't know what it is. They come into my gym. There's HYROX everywhere. I'm like, do you guys know what HYROX is? And they're like, is that what that is on the wall? Like they have no idea. So beyond that, and I feel like HYROX really picked up this is when I sensed the change, and I'll get to Deadly Dozen in a second, but this is just my theory. So remember Houston in 2023 when, why am I blanking on her name?
Carrie?
No, the CrossFit Games app, Christy O'Connell.
Christy, sorry.
So when we had a CrossFitter do it, and then when people started putting on TikTok, when it started being like exactly what Cheryl said, like, oh, I want to be seen doing this. People do this kind of fitness racing so much of the time, which I don't actually love, but they do it because they want to post about it. They want to be seen and it looks cool. So it's like people need to see it on TikTok and that's what it just takes time for it to grow. And like the kind of people we attract for Deadly Dozen are like your everyday working out fitness person, not the matching sets and the makeup and cute outfits type of people yet. And then the other thing is the marketing. So like, I don't think people realize it's literally just marketing myself, putting this on. So it's like, I can only do so much with Instagram. And so people in the US, like if they know HYROX, they might know Deadly Dozen. But even like when I talked to Danielle, the MC at LT Games, she's like, where were you yesterday? I was like, we were hosting Deadly Dozen. She was like, what's that? And so people just don't know what it is. And so yeah.
Well, listen, Jason, if you're listening, and I think you are, I think you got to bite the bullet and spend some more money. I know you think that it's go the other way, but I think put some more money behind a bunch of events because it hasn't. I just had a thought though that people might think it is too hard because of the marketing. Like I'm kind of thinking about like Bone Frog, like people that did OCR loved Bone Frog. If you didn't really know OCR, you'd be like, what is this thing? And is it too hard for me? Do you think that holds water, Dave, or no?
I don't think so. None of the marketing I've ever got has been like that. And when you look, like if you see anything with the weights on it, you're like, oh, well, it's lightweight. Yes, we all know it's high reps and it's very demanding. But it's
just the dead, like even like the logo, the kind of like frightening
Deadly.
Halloween. Like, is it?
No, I don't think so. No. I don't think that.
I'm throwing out ideas.
I know it's a theory, and I get your point. I don't think that throws too many people off.
Let me say this too. So I really do think so. I thought our second event would be a lot bigger than our first, but it actually wasn't. And I really believe it's because of where HYROX is positioned in Chicago, because we had. All our normal like HYROX community weren't there. Mm-hmm. So nobody from like the HYROX community showed up, which I was surprised by because I specifically chose the date because I was like, well, I would do this as a great prep workout 4 weeks before HYROX Chicago.
Have we gotten into
we didn't see those people? And like I like reached out. So I literally like would reach out to gyms. I'm like, hey, I'll get you guys a custom discount code for your gym to come out. And they'd like it, but they wouldn't like respond or anything. So people just aren't like, so I don't know. And I love it for like getting my own people, my clients psyched and like ready to like train for something. And it's like, we still haven't gotten, it's not like, I think that HYROX is now so shiny and people are obsessed with like trying to qualify for worlds as age grouper that it's not really on their radar. I think. So then I was thinking maybe next year we'll shoot for like April or May, because there's no spring event in Chicago for HYROX. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking that, and then maybe a September event, because we can pretty much count on HYROX Chicago being November. But then it's brand awareness. So like my whole plan over the winter is to really push the gym events. But like I think Deadly Dozen still needs to be legitimized like HYROX is, and I think it's getting there. But exactly what Dave's talking about with like the reps being like having like the best judging and all that stuff, it still needs work for people to like take it as seriously. So to me, like, I think that's kind of where I see, and I think it will take time. So I'll be curious if like the date shift in the spring will be different, because like we aren't getting our HYROX competitors there. They're just, it's very much like community that's not necessarily like our typical HYROX community.
I think you might be suffering from a bit of what OCR went through in this brand loyalty / monogamy. You know, is I'm a HYROXer. I do HYROX.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day was I run Spartan races. I don't run Tough Mudders.
You know, my favorite thing with LT games was that it wasn't HYROX. Like, I don't know. And so I don't know if it's because like I've done as many races or as many years as I've done, but I'm like, aren't you guys like I still love HYROX and I'll still do it every year when it's like, when it makes sense, but I'm not going to every single race and like design my entire life around it. Like I want to do other things. And I think
HYROX needs these other events, because otherwise people will become bored with it. They need to be able to go and do something else. And
I think that's starting to happen. I don't think people are going to all the events anymore like they were. I was at virtually all of them for a while. And I do have to wonder if timing will be helpful to you, because not only, we get the people done who are, looking to qualify or whatever. And there's that space in the spring, before Worlds, before New York, HYROX, where there isn't a lot going on as far as HYROX is going, that you could probably, I mean, the one thing I'm not seeing at Deadly Dozen here in the United States are elites trying it out. And Kat Foster does it once, right? She nails it in New York, right? But then I'm not seeing a whole lot of other, so getting those guys to come, I think would legitimize it quite a bit and help a lot.
I agree too.
Yeah, I would say that here, the DEKAs I've gone to, everybody's done both. The gym events, it's like everybody did DEKA events, and then like when HYROX came, it's like, cool, see you at HYROX next week. You know what I mean? So I don't see it a brand loyalty thing. I just think, I think there's just a lot of things that we need to figure out, because I want it to be successful. I mean, I'm obviously a fan of the event and a fan of Lauren, so I'd love to see it. And Brandon down in Texas. I just think, and again, I think we all know New York was like badly mismanaged, and the date was wrong, and the location was wrong, and so like let's get another go at it in the Northeast and see if we can kind of start to build the traction.
Just a few really well timed, really well executed events where there are high level athletes there. And I think it would get traction really fast.
Well, and again, in England, it wasn't that way either. In England, a lot of the Elite 15 haven't done it either. It just built its own steam. But I do see how that certainly does help. And that, like, obviously for like LT games and that kind of stuff, that tip of the spear names can certainly help draw attention. But hey, listen, I've got a Deadly patch on my bag. Dave, put your Deadly patch on your bag.
There it is.
There you go.
The three of us need to go next time.
Well, I actually, Matt, I think I was like, hey, does October 25th work for you? And this is before LT games. And I like planned around your schedule. You're like, oh, I'm out of this OCR thing. And I was like, you have to come. And then you never showed up to either one. So what's the deal? I'll plan. You tell me when.
Yeah.
Let's get, what is really
I've never had, like, there were literally 3, might've been 4. There was also an event here that weekend, another, another sim that I almost got hired for. And so I was like on the phone with all three of you, like, I don't know what's going to happen. The October 25th. What weekend was it? Just October 25th?
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, I definitely want to come. Jason's already told me that he'll do whatever, to get me to the American champ. So I'll be at that. I know that. Is that Texas or with you?
San Antonio.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then, yeah, I'd like to get to at least one more. So Dave, you're, you get a qualifying time, I guess,
You know what's awesome, actually? We had 2 people from Germany and a couple people from Houston that actually came over for it.
They came over from Germany?
So the couple, and they volunteered. This is how awesome they were, is that her husband, they wanted to do Deadly Dozen, and then her husband's like, oh, well, I'm in the US that week for work. And she's like, oh, well, perfect. It lines up with this Deadly Dozen. So she arranged their travel to make it happen. So they were amazing. And they stayed and volunteered, and they came early, and it was the best.
Yeah, because I was going to say there is a Deadly Dozen in Germany opening up.
But they came to Chicago.
They wanted to see the big shiny bean.
All
Jeff's
right.
in Lake Michigan, which is the coolest.
Are we ready to dive into LT games?
Yeah. Is this live? Are people commenting? Do we even see that?
That doesn't let me look at that stuff anymore.
I know. Yeah, that's why I'm asking. So,
well, I'll show you if something comes up that we need to discuss.
Okay. I'm just checking. Hi, everybody. So, yeah, look, I could talk about LT games for a really long time.
Well, so. I think I want to start with Dave. Dave's the only one who wasn't there of the three of us on this call, so I think we should start with him and then kind of work our way around.
Huge mistake, Dave. Huge mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, huge mistake not going. I did have massive FOMO despite the fact I had a good fun weekend. So I was expecting to end up being last on this one here, but I can look at some notes that I wrote down.
Yeah, let's see your notes. Cheryl's not the only one around here taking notes.
So here we go. Okay. First off, I obviously do you want me to talk about the stream or do you want me to talk about the event?
Oh, talk about the stream because I did not watch the stream. I later had pictures of myself sent of me in the way or dancing or doing whatever the stupid stuff I do, but
it would be good to hear what you thought.
I watched the stream on Saturday night after we finished Deadly Dozen, so I got to watch all Lauren and Dylan and all them go. So
that's exactly what I did. I did the exact same thing too. So let's get back. So first off, and Lauren, back me up on this if you want. The music was horrible.
That's crazy. I did not notice the music on the stream at all. I was
my God, go back and listen. Really? And I hate to start off.
No. They're background music.
Yeah, they're background music.
It was
like spa music or bordering on 70s porno kind of background music.
I think now that I'm guessing because in the room it was all the mashups.
There. It's just dance.
All the dance mashups, music. Every rock song that they've now turned into a dance mashup.
That was not what we got.
So they didn't want to get shut down for the live feed, so they must have done something else.
It's really generic, So
you didn't hear. What's her name?
You could hear Danielle.
Yeah.
But you couldn't hear the background music. You just had her mic.
So they piped her into. So yeah, that's what they were trying to solve.
We knew exactly what they were doing. It was just, and we could tell the music you guys were hearing was different because of the dancing did not match the music we were hearing.
You're hoping that's the case.
Either that or you were all really bad dancers.
Right.
Could be.
So that was the first thing that got me. I will say this though, pictures great, awesome signal, awesome coverage. Tons of camera angles. If you went to their website you could pick camera angles. That was really cool. There was a lot of cool stuff. So I don't want it to sound all bad because they did some really cool stuff with the stream. I felt that they could have used announcers, although and it's Danielle.
Yes.
She did a great job as MC on the floor, but that's not. I really kind of missed having a couple a play-by-play dude and a color commentator, especially during the elite wave there, especially at the end. When I watched Cheryl go through, Danielle's great for that. The fact that they were even piping her through was fantastic.
Yeah.
But when the big stage was on there, I thought, yes, they should have had a color commentator and play-by-play guy.
Yeah, and so we talked about that. So Wes and I, he said they were looking for a DJ, or sorry, a DJ. They said they were looking for an MC, and I said, "How about Danielle?" And first he said, "Well, how about you?" And I said, "Well, do you mean commentary? Because I don't really do the MC thing. Like I said, I can, but I'd rather be freed up to just do my own thing, or like have me sitting down with a mic." And he's like, "I think we're gonna do like a one size fits all." And I don't think it was a budget thing, because clearly that wasn't cheap that whole weekend. I think it was just kind of what they decided. They thought, well, this will work. Like, let's have this person who's she like do the pump up. She had to like do the pump up and the announcing. And, they gave her a list of names. Some people she knew, some people she would read their names off, and kind of like really hard job.
I thought she did an admirable
yeah, I think
job.
Next time if they do it, I think I would recommend the same thing. I would say when it comes to the big day, like get a couple of talking heads.
Yeah, I have no knock on what she did. I thought she did an admirable job. I thought she was in there. She was good. And clearly, I mean, this is something new for her, just as it is for everybody else. I thought she did really well. It was funny because I was looking up, and where I saw people standing up above, I thought, couple of people up there at a table seeing the whole thing could have done some really good commentary from that position.
Well, where the team was actually, they could have done it too. Yeah. The where the broadcast team was basically right behind the last two stations on one side. Yeah. And that's where the timing and the camera guys were. Yeah. That was like their whole setup. So you could have put two people there.
Yeah. And like for a first stream, I mean, first attempt at a stream, it was really great. Like the fact they had all those camera angles, all that stuff going on. They had a lot of balls in the air, and they did a good job. So I'm just pointing out things that
that's fine.
That clicked to me. So
that's what we want. That's what the people want, Dave.
And I don't know if you'd call this part of the stream or part of the organization, but there wasn't enough goddamn women in the elite waves. Like seriously, like there was the one CrossFit girl. I can't remember her name. I think she ended up 5th or 4th.
Nikki.
Yeah, Nikki. You had Lauren. You had Tara.
And I don't know if you know this, but in HYROX Pro, there's not that many women either.
No, but I think that I would have made some, like, personally, what I would have done for that was and I guess again they had a lot of people they had to put through, but I would have taken my elite, the stream itself, and I would have put through 4 women at once for a big race, 4 men at once for a big race, and that would have been all I showed.
Right. Well, part of it was scheduling. I mean, Lauren couldn't be there till Sunday. Janelle couldn't be there till Sunday.
Yeah.
She just blows in, like takes 3rd place, unbroken ground overheads. That was unbelievable. She put on such a show.
I didn't know that. I read it on Instagram or something, but that's insane.
I agree with you, Dave, though. I think I was kind of bummed too. And I know it was, remember this event, anybody could sign up, but for this like pro wave, that it was kind of invite / hey, can I get in that wave kind of thing.
Right.
So I think it's one of those things where there were probably a lot of people at home going, oh, I want to be in that next time. But no, I agree. I was surprised. I was like, oh, it's only Tara versus Lauren, basically, right? And then some other people.
Well, Chris Rogloski, but she wasn't, like, she could have been in there with them. You know what I mean? Like they could have set something up where there could have been 4 women and they didn't. And so probably lesson learned, right? And look, we didn't even know about this until like 8 weeks ago. Like they really slapped this together pretty quick. And this has created more buzz. Matt, I listened to you talking to Jake Dearden, right? You just posted that, and he's like peppering you with questions about this event, right? Like everybody's interested in this, and we didn't even know it existed in like mid-August. And so to be able to slap it together as fast as they did, like, yeah, I think lessons learned, they'd be able to do a better job.
And that's why, like, I'm usually pretty cool critiquing things, but I feel kind of bad because I think they did a really good job.
Well, how nice was it? Look, I just showed up on my own. My husband, my friends are like watching me, like they saw my entire race. I had text messages as soon as I got across the finish line talking to me about
what was it like to go back and watch your race?
Not as bad as I thought. You think about what they could have caught, and they didn't catch some things that I'm really glad they didn't catch. It was pretty cool, actually. I just sent the link to my kids, and they're all watching it, and they're like, Mom, your arms. Like, yeah, like it's really cool that they were able to cover that.
So I need to go back and watch yours.
you know, it is what it is. Me and Matt Kemp, right? You know, it was cool.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
That was quite a duel.
That was quite a duel. And I had, look, it's a good thing that women have 900 fewer meters of everything to do, because he is definitely fitter than me. And so I was able to keep up with him because I didn't have as much work. But yes, I agree with you, Dave. I think it was well done, and a few things they can tweak, and it's just going to be even better.
Yeah. And then I guess the other thing about the setup I would say is, and again, I know you have to put some people in that wave or whatever, but some people just do not belong there and don't do it again.
No, they had to bump a guy. They legit had to bump a guy.
Tara caught a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they, I was nervous, and I walked over there, and he was, what's the second barbell movement?
The shouldered overheads.
He was at that, and she was behind him.
She was breathing down his neck.
And I was like, what are they going to do? Because like,
there's another.
Sorry, Tara.
Oh.
So there's a 15. So for the listeners, they spread everybody out 15 minutes apart. And the theory is, you know, that should work. You get 6 minute cap.
It really did. Like for the most part,
it's a 6 minute cap. If you get capped in 3 stations, you're out. And so that worked all day, except this didn't work. And I saw them like move an extra barbell over, and I was like, well, you can't just tell this guy when she gets off. Like, that's too late to like argue with this guy, right? And here's a woman fighting for podium and money and everything. So they solved it. Like, they handled it. And I forget where they bumped him, but they did. And then they fixed it for the next day. They were like, we're not going to have that happen again. And they pushed Janelle's time back because there weren't that many people racing on Sunday. And they were like, let's give you an extra either 5 or 10 minutes.
No, they gave her just the full extra 15 minutes. She just started in the next.
Let's just not have this happen.
Yeah, so she had 30 minutes cushion between her and the next person in front of her.
So that's, you know, if you talk about scaling it, that's obviously like the one thing that's like, because we were talking about sort of, if we're ready to go there, this whole idea of like, so where does this thing go? And that's sort of the irony is, we're kind of all like, yay, a big competitor for HYROX. That's definitely not going to put on as many races as HYROX. Like, they might put on 2 next year. You know what I mean?
Think about how many Lifetime Fitnesses there are in the country, though.
Yep.
Right. Except that they don't all have a basketball court / pickleball court. And that's what you need.
So they're like converting a lot of the clubs, and all of the people that are the boomers there are all upset. Like my dad, he's like seriously disturbed. He's like, this used to be a racquetball court. I played in the state championships decades ago here. And it's like, what have they done? And then I went to a different location today, and he's like, do you want to see what they do with the basketball court? And they like are totally redesigning it. So it's really interesting from my point of view, because I'm like, clearly Lifetime has a plan. So they're kind of taking like, and I actually asked my dad the same question, like, does anyone start playing racquetball anymore? Or is this just like a boomer sport? And so I think that they're catching on to like this fitness racing or training for something. And they're converting a lot of their clubs to be this kind of setup.
Well, listen, Connor, who is the head judge, and Wes, who's been on this show twice and Dave's show once, they're going to come on, and I'll let them talk about a lot of, because we talked about a lot of it at the end of the day, and I don't know what I can say and not say, but again, we knew it was never going to be HYROX, but there's certainly a pretty big range between, you know, convention centers and more than 2 a year. You know, when the first time I had him on, and he was like, oh, I think we might build 2 centers next year. I was like, that's it? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think, again, if we want to kind of already go there, because this is where my brain works, like, could they do the strong and mile concept, right? Where if you don't have as much space, there's a 7-station version. There's a, you know, using the same machines version, and you have a leaderboard, and like, is there, and then a few times a year we have the fit, right? Dave, you don't seem to be liking that idea.
I don't think that this bodes well for mass participation whatsoever. I think you're going to get you're going to cap out at like 200 people. And I think that's fine.
But why not? But what about gym events? As again, they're a gym company. Why not have just gym events then?
I think
like you can have smaller events, sure, but again, like I don't think that's their goal. I don't think that's the direction they're going. I think the purpose of this, and from talking with Wes, I think the purpose of this, it's all pickleball now. Yeah, exactly. I think the purpose of this is more just like almost a promotional tool for their gym. It's not about making money out of this giant race. It's about, this is what we can offer at Lifetime Fitness. And now you can also do Lifetime Games here. I don't think,
but it's such a, but is that a missed opportunity?
They would have to do it so differently. They could do a completely different thing for mass participation.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, let's do a stronger because listen, I knew very little about the Lifetime ecosystem, and they've got these classes, right? So Alpha is the HYROX-ish E class. This one is this class. That weird spooky room I went in apparently is the most sold out fucking thing they have.
I saw those women in there. They were having a great time.
So, it's not just that the spooky looking machines and the weird lighting, but it's called like Reform. And I was like, what happens in this room? So apparently this is the 30 to 45-year-old women with money, keeping up with the Joneses, hot moms doing their Pilates plus thing. And those classes like fill up, like they're long waiting lists. So that's a thing. Are you raising your hand?
Mm-hmm.
Do you also do those classes?
No, hell no.
Why are you raising your hand?
Because I had a take.
Oh, listen, this is like, ESPN. You don't need to raise your hand. Just yell louder than the other person. Just kidding. But go ahead.
I was going to say, like, why does it have to be all about mass participation? Because that's the biggest problem with HYROX.
But I'm saying there's a Cheryl, help me out here.
I'm not going to help you, Matt. I'm just not, because I actually think that the format that they have is fantastic. And I don't think it's that big of a footprint. And I think we need to learn from this, that not just Lifetime could put something like this together. I don't think it actually takes that much equipment, and it doesn't take, what's that?
I would say so many things were better because it wasn't mass participation. That's like the biggest flaw. But like, obviously, like HYROX and Lifetime are making money different ways. But the thing that everyone complains about with HYROX is the judging and like the customer service and like all of these things. Whereas this being able to have events with, I think they had 200 plus people go through the weekend. If you're doing these frequently, like people can still train for it. And
we have thoughts on judging. I want to see what Dave thought of judging.
Hold on. I'm letting Lauren go. Keep going, Lauren.
Yeah. You say something, Lauren, then I still have something to say.
Oh, I mean, I was just saying, like, it doesn't always have to be quantity over quality. As the now I'm not the one who's like with the business trying to make money necessarily, but like for Deadly Dozen, we had 250 people, like, and we cap at 500. Like that's still a lot. But like with a weekend like this, like it was just so smooth and well run, and it went so well because it wasn't like, let's try to jam as many people in here as possible. Mm-hmm. And so like having more frequent events. And I don't know, like most of the Lifetimes I've been to are massive. And there a lot of times are not necessarily in like like this Target Center one was in downtown, but a lot of times they're like in the suburbs, like just outside the city. So they're huge, like much bigger than like an Equinox. So I think that there's potential because like you can do many events. And if you're doing 200 to 300 people at these events, like I think that like I said, to the consumer, the quality over quantity is a much like more positive experience.
I think they had the pickleball courts and the basketball court for this. You didn't need the pickleball courts. Sure, it was nice, but this fit in a basketball court and you could make it work on that short of a footprint. I think, Matt, you're always, to your credit, wanting these races to be accessible, right? You want doubles, you want shorter stations. You know what I mean? You want all that. I don't think it's such a bad thing that this race was just freaking hard. Not everybody is going to be able to finish this race. You know, you can get a HYROX or a DEKA or a Deadly Dozen done in, I don't know, 3.5 hours. Nobody cares that you're out there. This, you've got time caps. You better be able to finish it or else you're just going to DNF. And so this is already skewing toward a very, very narrow percentage of the population. And I think that's great. I think it's going to give people who are looking for a new challenge something to do.
Someone once told me that communication is the foundation of any relationship. And I'm not communicating myself. I'm not clearly communicating what I'd like to communicate. So I'm going to start over for the jury.
All right. All right.
I love fitness racing. I'm a huge fan of hybrid fitness. I don't believe everything needs to be mass participation. Let's do a 9-day event. Let's take over the world. I do think there is room to grow between this thing that everybody just loved and can't stop talking about and we'll do 2 next year. That's what I'm saying. Because we have other goals, because this is part of a bigger ecosystem, because I know they have good reasons. I'm just saying, like, give me 10, give me 1 a month. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, 2 seems too small. And again, Wes and Connor are amazing. And at the end of the day, like, cogs in a much bigger wheel, right? So they're going to say that as well. There are a lot of other decisions about what Connor, like, again, lifetime for those that don't know. We learned at dinner. What did we learn about their market cap, Cheryl, according to Marcus Wallace and ChatGPT?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to those.
They're
numbers.
a $6 billion company.
They've got their fingers in a lot of pies.
I almost said they own Strava. They own Athlinks, right?
Right. And they sponsor Leadville. They
sponsor Leadville. They sponsor the Miami Marathon. Like, they do a lot of, plus these events, plus these what do you call it? Places. These are not cheap gyms. This is not Planet Fitness. Like, the very expensive stuff. Put their money and marketing and dollars and things. And like, there's what did I hear? There's another word. Like, they have a lot of like cutesy inside words that they use and lingo, and it's a whole thing. I just want to see more than 2 next year. That's what I'm saying. Have I made my case clearer now, Dave? Does it make sense now what I'm saying?
Look,
yeah, I'm all for more events, but don't try to jam more people through said events.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. No, keep it like it is. Okay, so this is what gives me hope. This is what we got when we finished. This says Minneapolis.
Flip it over.
Yeah, so it's a little coin, right? I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do with it, but I like the fact that it wasn't a patch because I thought that would be copycat, right? Like, they're doing something that's kind of special, and it says Minneapolis LT Games, right? And
which means,
well, that's the thing. And here's the skyline of Minneapolis. So this is a collector piece, right? So then if they go to Boston, I go to Boston and I get my Boston coin. And then I go to, Fort Lauderdale, I get my I go to Vegas, I get my Vegas coin. Like, it seems like that's what they're leaning toward.
Right. What about a hex? What do you think about a hex piece?
Oh, don't get me started. That's this. Yeah. We should.
Is that a different show? Should we record where we talk about hex pieces and Spartan doubles?
I think we can go through that later, but let's stay where we're at now.
I'm so tempted.
I know.
Dave, did you see and have thoughts on judging?
Of course. That's what I do. That's my thing.
Well, I'm waiting for that take.
Okay, so I saw some spectacular judging at times.
My judge was terrifyingly strict. Good. And it affected the outcome of my race.
Cook, Cheryl.
That's right. No, I'm down with that. But I did see some terrible judging at times. And I mean, it is what it is. Judging is very difficult. I don't know if they had volunteers, if they were employees, if they brought people in, if they're paid, whatever the case may be, but it was their first event, so you got to give them a lot of leeway. For example, I will say that Noah Ohlsen's deadlifts were an abomination. Just
you should know that.
Yeah, he was nowhere near full extension. They were terrible.
Here's how I will disagree with that. I was there and I thought the same thing at first, and I had this whole discussion with them. You guys have heard me say this for 10 years now about the whole idea of CrossFit competition moving so fast defeats the purpose, and then we can't tell. And I was watching because I thought he wasn't, but I looked like I was starting to look like straight on, and he's getting straight, and he did get no repped a few times.
Were his shoulders behind the barbell?
Behind the barbell?
Yeah.
We can go back and slow-mo it if you want.
Because that's what I was looking for, and his shoulders did not go behind the barbell.
I thought there were a couple iffies, and I did see him no rep a couple of times. And the judge did, I forget if it was Noah's judge or somebody else's judge, But remember this idea? I think it was you or Yancey that said instead of just saying 6, just keep saying the same number.
That's Yancey.
He's like, or no, he just told him that when he asked for a count, he told him. And so it was, anyway, he got nerfed a few times. I know that. But
yeah,
I'm
just saying, from what I saw, they didn't look good.
Okay.
And again, I'm going from camera angles and stuff, and I'm not even talking about the sumo stance. I don't know the guidelines for their rules on them, and I could be off too because I do not have all the guidelines for their movement standards. But to me,
well, and neither do they. I think, as you said, Dave, they don't actually have a rule book.
And that obviously is a big problem. I did see a lot of different people with not having great extension on their reps on their shoulder to overheads. Same with the wall balls. I saw some wall balls that were skeptical. We saw some ground to overhead with not full extension, but I saw some other judges who were all over it. Janelle's judge was honor. Like there was some really good judging, and then there was some off judging. So consistency in judging is the bane of the existence of this sport, and is very difficult to come to get to happen.
Yeah, there was definitely like CrossFit L1 and L2 coaches there. Janelle's judge is Juan, Body by Juan Show on Instagram. Yep. Great dude. And there were a few others who, I mean, you could just like, they were down there and whoosh, giving them. And we got some pretty horrible videos sent to us, Cheryl and I, and I told them, and they were like, yeah, our rule book. And they said, they asked me about the rule book, and I said, I don't think you have one, because we were talking about clarity of rule book. This one guy like dropping the ball and then picking it up and then throwing it, right?
No, not even picking the ball up, letting the ball bounce so that he could grab it. And then
I saw a lady do that as well.
Yeah, but then there was a guy.
I saw a dude doing a dead ball over the shoulder on one knee.
Yes.
I did not see that.
Did you see that one? I know Lauren, yeah. Got that.
No, they actually talked about that in the judges' briefing. They asked.
Was it okay?
I think that it was like someone asked, and then it wasn't like there. And then people ask the weirdest questions in these judges' briefing. I'm just like, get to the like. But he's like, well, and
Marcus is saying, I got a bunch of nerves in the deadlift at the start. Should we bring Marcus in if Marcus wants to come on? Should we bring Marcus in?
Always.
He's commented a couple times.
I remember the no reps. I remember thinking the judge was correct.
I also saw Noah Ohlsen get no repped on the shoulder to overhead because he wasn't getting his head through. Yeah. But I saw his judge like correcting him. I saw the judge like showing him like, no, head through at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was right behind Marcus.
What did they say about the guy on the knee?
I was going to say, I don't think there was an explicit rule saying you couldn't do that. I think that someone asked that question at the briefing, and then Connor, was that his name?
Yeah.
I think he was like it looked like it was like, well, how would you even do that? Or why would you? And I don't know if it was an explicitly like, oh, you have to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll contend with the why. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It didn't make him go faster, didn't look easier. It was a silly thing. I just like that.
Well, you don't have to pick it up as far.
Well, I saw a guy clutching the ball and not putting it here.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Well, Chris had said she asked and they were told her no, but they were saying it didn't matter.
Because on my podcast, Wes said that was okay.
Yeah, they did on the briefing too.
Okay. Well, clearly they definitely need some help. I watched.
I'm available for contract.
I was watching. I think he would hire you.
Yeah.
I think he would bring you down. Hopefully to more than 2 events. I think they're going to do a much better job with the rule book. But I feel like I saw, like I said, some pretty good. And I think they were all employees. I think they were all, again, I don't know if they're paid for the day or if like, hey, this person teaches at this class. But like, the cleanup video that I showed that I had to like edit on the plane and get up right away because I think I don't know how many times people, whether it was an athlete or whoever, just everybody was like, did you see those cleanup people? It was fucking amazing.
We commented on it while we were watching. Ryan and I were like, look at them, they're cleaning like right behind him, wiping treadmills, doing everything. But it wasn't just it, like, obviously they had people to do that, but then also, Connor and Wes, I saw straightening things. I saw like one of the women who like was on calls with me who helped bring me there. Like she would grab a squeegee if she saw something. And that is the level that we want to see.
We don't want to see the race director who's doing everything and not actually doing his job because he's a chicken with his head cut off. But when you've got everything going well and delegating, but you are willing to step in regardless of title, and I think that's what they were saying. Like the Lifetime way, a few of them commented that. I think that must be in their ethos, that like that's how you take care of business or leave things better than you found it, or whatever the Lifetime way is. We can ask them when they come on. But again, that's the kind of small but really huge stuff. But it begs the question that we all were asking, like, wait a minute. So we go to a HYROX, they don't do that once.
Or even after, probably.
And we're just, I mean, it's kind of disgusting. It kind of makes me not want to go.
We're just swimming in all these bottles.
Matt Kemp,
and then like 75%
Matt Kemp is like dripping through every station. Yeah. I'm watching him closely. My good friend Matt Kemp, and I'm just like, and I know I'm like that. And they're just squeeging behind in the machines, and so yeah. I mean, I guess we're all pretty tough. I guess the what do you call it? The immune system's pretty tough.
No, except that after every HYROX, 75% of us get sick for 2 weeks. Like we're just used to it, right? And that's what's going to happen when you put 5,000 people through, whereas an event like this is dialed in enough that they can take care of all of the things, which is very nice.
I mean, listen, planes are disgusting, and I travel a lot, and I've learned like why I get so run down and why I sneeze like a lunatic is like it just breaks down your system. So anyway. We are pretty resilient, but yes, HYROX. Let's step up the cleaning crew a little bit when you've got 10,000 instead of 200.
When you have to set a rule saying stop snotting on the equipment, you know you've got a problem.
I saw somebody spit good during the race. I don't know if it was Noah or Cole. Somebody let out a good loogie in the middle of the race. I forget who, but listen, it happens. It wasn't a snot one, but it was a kind of a situation.
Find a bucket.
Let's see if they've updated this website yet for Atlanta. No, they have not. What else have we got in the notes on the event? Oh, let's talk about dead ball overs, which we all know from DEKA. You drop the ball, you take a half step behind, you bend down, you pick it up again, right? Not how the rest of the world does it, including professional CrossFitters like Noah Ohlsen, who turned around. And I thought, wow, like they don't do it like we do it. And even on the mic, when Marcus started doing it, Danielle was like, ooh, that's an interesting way to do that. So I messaged Bubbles and I said, Bubbles, you're the Hobie of DEKA. Like Hobie was the first one to roll through the barbed wire. Nobody had thought of that before. And so it was like, what a genius. So there you go. Congratulations, DEKA athletes. You do something better than a lot of really fit people, more efficiently than a lot of fit people.
Box step overs too.
Were their box step overs slow?
No, they did that at one of the CrossFit events down in California. And then who was it that did it like that? The only one guy did it that way. It was what's his name? Oh shit! Come on, Lauren, you know his name. He won the championship not this year, but the year past.
Sprague.
James Sprague.
He does it properly.
He did the DEKA way, and they were commenting like, "Oh my God, look at him go!"
Yeah.
I think everyone wants to know about the torque rowing machines and the skiers.
Oh, totally. I do not see that in the questions, but I will. I think
that was on my notes. Was the ski erg?
Okay, Cheryl, you touched ski ergs. You touched the other ergs. Talk to us.
Well, and Lauren did as well. I'm wondering what she thought of them. I was told, so one of the judges there who was really, really good was my friend Jen Walter, who's in my age group. And I had messaged her before asking her about these torque machines. And she told me that she usually rows maybe a 210 at about a level 5 for a HYROX. And she's more like 223 at a level like 2 or 1. On these rowers. So and she was right. The rower, I kind of had to not freak out that I was going slower, but the ski makes up for it. The skis actually, I thought, quite a bit easier. So that's what I have to say about it. I don't know what Lauren thought when she did it, or Marcus.
Welcome to the program, Marcus Wallace, who apparently is a professional podcaster.
I had to get my setup ready.
He's a big deal.
Nice job.
All right, Lauren Skierg.
Well, so first of all, Cheryl gave me those tips beforehand, so thank you for that. The rowing machine felt horrible. It might just be my fitness level. I don't know, but it was so much resistance. And I did put it like, I remember Cheryl, you told me, like, Lauren had it at a 2 or at a 3.
Yeah.
And then I had a 1. And so at first I put it at a 3, my first one. And every other one after that was like 1. Like it was so hard, but I was also dying. The skier, definitely the opposite. So you're correct on that too. Like it was faster and easier. The only thing, not the only thing, I didn't like how like I had to look up at the monitor if I was curious about my pace. Because you know when you're on a concept 2, you can like it's in your visual line of sight.
It's lower than you.
So I had to like, look. I had no idea how many meters I was doing. I was just like I had my head down, and like one point I like went a little over because you have to like look up to see. So I like didn't really pay as much attention to my pace while I was going. But again, like I was just like dying in general. So I definitely not equal to the concept 2, and I don't trust them as much. I mean, obviously concept 2 is the standard. So that's why I had my concept.
Not to the folks at Lifetime where Torque is their sponsor.
It sucked.
Marcus, did you practice on any different machines to take on this competition?
No, and first I gotta say, I think I was like 30 seconds behind, and you were talking about those D balls. I was so excited to bust out those DEKA D balls, and then I grabbed the wrong ball. I blew it all. I was like, I knew no one was gonna do that, and I'm like, okay, it seems like a meaningless station, but I can probably make up 10 seconds there. And then that ball felt very light. Yeah.
Do you want to turn up your volume a little bit? I think your mic's a little quiet. Am I the only one?
We were all watching. We were on the floor watching. Yeah, it's just a little quiet.
I already know how to do that.
Yeah, you're fine.
You're fine. You're fine.
Clearly, the guys on those other shows haven't taught you how to properly podcast, but we'll teach you. We'll give you a quick lesson when this show's over.
Is this better?
Yes, there we go.
Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What?
I was on the wrong mic.
Oh.
I got multiple.
All right. Well, now you're a second delayed, but it's fine. We'll roll with it. So other than breaking out your amazing deck of balls, I want to know how you approach this race. You were one of the first people to message me about this race. You were one of the first people to register for this race. Why were you so interested? And then talk a little bit about kind of strategy.
I had a good background for this race. I talked to like Cole Sager after, and they were shocked. I was a CrossFit affiliate owner for 10 years, over 10 years. So I've done quite a bit of CrossFit, don't do as much anymore. And then obviously been into HYROX more recently. So it was right up my alley. And to be honest, of barbell movements, deadlift and shoulder to overhead would probably be my best. If they threw like a lot of thrusters in there, I definitely would have probably been cooked. But so all the more CrossFit-y stuff actually played in my favor.
And then, so how did you start to train for it?
Well, I was trying to get the workout as soon as I could, but I was still, I mean, even that was probably at most a month out. I just, I did one run through. I heard all these other guys did like 2 or 3 at least, and then did a bunch of EMOMs just with the movements just to get more used to them, but nothing too far out of what I normally do.
Have you used those kind of ergs before?
I have not. I agree. Yes, that rower was crazy. Definitely at most, maybe like a 3 on the damper. It was very tough. The ski erg, yes, it was very fast. It felt light and was weird because it was like the resistance was only like in the top half as you were coming down. It seemed like once you got past like towards the end of your stroke, there was like no resistance, which I think actually saved your triceps a little bit for the push press coming up. So that was slightly advantageous as well.
Why do you think? Why
are you making such faces right now? I feel
I'm so confused by why Torque does this. Like, we want to make a different thing. Like those machines.
Space it takes up in a gym, so they have this attached to like the rig. So you save space with a skier, a lot of space. I mean,
but the rowers, they could make the rower the same kind of resistance, couldn't they?
Like when Rogue came out with their rowers, that was one of the things they touted with it. Is like we've had it like third party verified by like physicists that like this is going to work and it's the exact same as a Concept 2, so you could compare them across. But yes, those torques are definitely not comparable. And their magnetic resistance, which is a much different feel.
I don't know Matt's face too.
Either that or he's froze.
Cheryl.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What did you think of those machines?
Look, this race was so hard. I didn't care about the machines. I was using them to recover. I wasn't going to worry about it. I didn't have some time to beat. My goal was to just finish. And so, yeah, the rower was slower, but not so slow that I needed to worry about time caps or anything like that. And I just chilled on the ski. So it was fine. I agree. Having the screen up above for the ski was kind of a problem. But that's just because we're not used to it.
I got a question strategy wise for both Lauren and Marcus. Did the strategy you have going in play out the way you wanted, or would you adjust it for the next time?
Everything for me, I went with like the medium weights pretty much on everything. I think it all went good. The only thing I was unsure about, I was undecided even until the day of, was the burpee box jumps. I did the 30-inch box. I thought it saved 5 reps, and I got the long legs for the step down, which I think helped. But I'm not sure how many did that. I'm not sure if I would do it again because they were not very fun.
I think Dylan did that too, didn't he?
Not with the weight.
No, he did it with the weight maybe. I know Dylan put it on the 30 for something.
For the other 2.
Yeah, because I looked at that too. I talked about it. There's no way. Like I could jump that, but it would be such an awkward step down for me.
And yeah, for the step overs with the weight on your shoulder, and those boxes are always a little tippy. I was like, I do not want to mess with that.
So did you do 24 for that one?
24 for that, yeah.
Yeah. That 30 looked really tall and everybody was talking about it. So, you put on a good show.
Yeah, Marcus, I forgot that they paid down to 5th. Like we were joking about you holding the record for a few minutes and then getting bumped off the podium, but I forgot that 5th place did make money. And you still beat an awful lot of people, including Nico, who they were so proud of. He was the CrossFitter that set the best time at their test event. So good job, dude.
Thanks, Matt. Former world record holder. They already sent me a W-9 too, so I think I'll actually get some money.
Fantastic.
Well, and I do think that one thing we were talking about on the floor was the HYROXers versus the CrossFitters, and who was going to kind of so Marcus was one of the first, like he was, I would consider the
first wave, weren't you? The first,
yeah, he was the first wave of the guys going out, the 2 p.m. wave, and was it Connor that came over to us and he's like, do you know what he's running? Like, just to see what you were running on the assault runner, he was just so impressed, and I just think this felt like a really good test to see. All right, if you put CrossFitters and HYROXers up against each other, like which is gonna sort of prevail. And I think that there were good people on both sides, but when you've got somebody like Marcus and Lauren Weeks and Dylan Scott, like I think y'all showed that that the endurance athletes can really show up.
I do think, yes, I agree, especially for this first event. It was a nice mix of everyone sort of in that top 5. But I was telling people, I think if people like Sprague or Hopper or Jeff Adler, Ricky Garrard, if they came, I think they would cook all of us. I don't know if they beat Lauren, though. I think Lauren might still get them. But I think all the other guys, they would beat us all.
Yeah, I think there's just not enough running in it to compensate for the difference. I agree with you completely. I was thinking
there was a pretty good crossover in my heat, and I did surprise. I think I put almost at least 90 seconds on them just in the first run. So some of them are quite slow, but those other guys I just named are not.
Yeah, Noah's no slouch either. Like
he's gotten much better in running too. So,
but
here's the leaderboard. So Noah Ohlsen, winner, CrossFitter. Dylan Scott, second, HYROXer. Jack Driscoll, HYROXer, but kind of a man of all things lately.
Hybrid
Cole, CrossFitter, right? Then Marcus, who Marcus, by the way, would have perhaps beaten Cole had he not grabbed a couple of the wrong balls. And then Nico's a CrossFitter, William's a CrossFitter. I don't know this guy, Brendan Wills.
Also a CrossFitter. He's done very well in like the open and stuff before.
So we definitely mixed it up. And then on the women's side, let's see, for the women, Lauren, Tara, Janelle, right? And then this girl, Nikki, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know a lot about the rest of these folks. I think some of them work at Lifetimes.
Because they were in the earlier waves.
Right. And then it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but it's I said, let me hit stop. I said we were talking about, they didn't do a podium because that's the way they did it, and they realized maybe they shouldn't have done it that way, where they weren't going to decide till the second day. And I said Janelle is probably like, there's only one spot available. I don't think there's any men tomorrow. They're going to touch those men. I don't know who's coming, but they're not going to be better than those 5 or those 3. And then for the women's podium, I said Janelle is probably the one person who could come in third, and she did it. And yeah, she did over 100 ground to overhead with the 15-pound weights, because she's like, I'm just going to go low and do them all unbroken.
I cannot believe that's what her strategy was, and I wish I knew that, so I would have talked to her in person and asked her, because it's so interesting to me, and it's insane.
And she was no rep 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, so she did more than 100, but I think she seems to be the most mentally tough athlete we've got. Like that, she's just, I'm going to do this. Like, I don't even care if I'm getting no rep. I'm just going to keep it up. I started getting no rep on the shouldered overheads, and it just broke me. Like I just dropped the barbell and just, all right, fine. Like the fact that
40 more reps than I did.
That's crazy.
That's insane. And like that never ever would have crossed my mind to try that. And so I wonder, she must have like tested it both ways, I would think. Because like to me, I'm like, oh, the 25s, those are pretty light.
But yeah, she says that the difference, she said her breaks were too long, and so she just wanted to go unbroken. I actually have an interview with her, Cole, Marcus. Did we talk on the mic?
We talked a little bit.
I think I talked to everybody is what I'm saying. In interviews, I wanted to get them up before this show, but I didn't. I ended up talking to Jake today. Anyway, so tomorrow I'll get those up. You could hear interviews with pretty much the entire top 10 men and women, top 5 men and women.
The double dumbbell ground overhead. I don't know if did any guys use the 50s? I feel like most everyone did 35s.
None of the guys.
I do got to say,
I saw one guy earlier on. I think when I was watching Cheryl, I saw one guy broke out the 50s.
And I remember early on when these workouts were coming out, Dave said he would use the 50s and he'd do it in 2 minutes. So I'm waiting to see that now.
So I had to do the 35s when I did my sim because my gym didn't have the 50s. So
go grab a couple 50s right now, Dave.
It's bloody cold here.
So, put a coat on.
I don't even have my 50s here, but I will give it a shot and I'll go through it and see.
It's a movement when you're fresh, they feel good, but when you're at that point in the race, they did not feel good.
That was the problem. It's the placement of it and the sheer volume. So
that's one though I'm looking to give a try, because that's a bread and butter for me. That's one of my favorite moves. So if I'm going to be able to pull off anything stupid, that would be the spot. But I also might crash and burn dramatically.
I don't think we've had a race come along that has generated this much buzz and this much excitement in a really long time. And it is going to be tragic if they don't do something with this. This cannot be just some one-off random event, guys. Help us out here.
I don't think it will be. I think they'll have more because, like I said, they don't need it to be this money-making monster. It's a showpiece.
So offer it in random Lifetime gyms, and then make it open to the public for registration after a certain point where their members can get in on it first.
Yeah,
and I think we'd all be really happy with that.
And I said I would totally travel for this one. I'm ready to go for whatever the next one. And by the way, there's a Lifetime 35 minutes from my place, and it's a big one. Good spot for it.
What question I have, and I don't know the answer to, I wonder what percentage of participants were from Lifetime, because I felt like the times I've gone to work out at Lifetime, you don't get a lot of those types of people that would be willing to do that type of event. Mm-hmm. People that train at Lifetime are not like the people that are going to HYROX and do those kinds of things. And I know a lot of like, even so when I was at Lifetime today, like no one there really, it wasn't like a big thing, you know? And even like one of the trainers came up to me and like, and she was like they don't, I don't know. I'm curious, like how many. So like, I don't necessarily think their goal is, well, maybe it is to build their program, but like, I think they're pulling a lot of CrossFitters. Like the girl who was in my heat was definitely a CrossFitter across from me.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately tell. So I think that there were a lot of that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I know that the waves from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Saturday, I think were all Lifetime people. It was like a special
I didn't see very much. I was literally the last heat of the whole thing. So I guess I didn't see it.
So you didn't get to see, like Saturday was a lot busier and they had a lot of people that I think were part of kind of a special Lifetime team. But you're right. I mean, look, they've got the Pilates studio all decked out for a reason. Like that is hugely popular there, right? Like stuff like that is not going to translate. And so, yeah, to open it up to the general public, I think, you know, obviously the CrossFitters are going to love it.
Well, I do want to say, I want to go back to what you said, Debo, about like all the names you mentioned about who would beat you. It's like, okay, right. So the best CrossFitters in the world would beat you. But if you look at a lot of CrossFitters, right, who think that they're right, that they, you know, invented fitness and that, oh, we would beat HYROXers at anything that didn't involve all the running. Like I said, look at who you beat. And I think we give, you know, people that train to do HYROX are really fucking fit. And even without 8K of running can beat a lot of really fit people besides the 5 fittest men in the world.
Good point.
I call them meatball CrossFitters, the guys who are about 5'8", like 200. I think those guys are the ones we can beat.
Hell, man.
Like, you aren't a CrossFitter. I didn't say anything about you. It's a compliment.
Doing those sumo deadlifts.
When I met Cole, I'd never met Cole before. And I said, I don't know if we've met before. I go, because you guys kind of look alike. He's like, yep, me and the Saxons and Josh, you know, Hepner. Like they all kind of look exactly like that with the shaved heads. By the way, what a sweetheart. I never met him before.
Don't get me started about that guy.
Made plenty. Do you have a crush, Cheryl?
I do.
Okay.
He held the door open for me. I didn't know who he was. We were walking into Lifetime and he was right in front of me and he held the door open for me and he just smiled at me like the most wonderful human being ever. And I was like, I don't care who you are. I just love you. I'm going to put you in my pocket, take you home.
I have a crush on him now too.
Yeah, right.
He's doing HYROX Chicago.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to that in a minute. Before we get to that, I want to talk, Cheryl, are we allowed to talk about your hot tub time with Matt Kemp, or is that off limits?
You know, here's what I love about this sport is there really aren't men and women. Like you can just kind of hang out with anybody and it's fine. And you just sit around and talk sports. And what we did is we just looked back on the feed of our race and we talked about our race and it was awesome. And we sat in the hot tub and there were some other people down there and it was just fine.
Dave, why are you making a face?
We've done lots of hot tubs at OCR and stuff before. I've had a ton of hot tub times.
Okay, Matt, you just missed out. You had great.
Hanging out with Austin Azar. We did the hot tub with Austin and Mick Girello and what's her name? Carly Wopat. Lots of hot tubs.
So
crush that. Carly would crush this event.
Yeah,
I messaged Carly.
Alec Blinnis. I want to see Alec Blinnis do this.
Well, and he is part of. Well, I don't know if he still trains at Lifetime, but he's very.
Dude, I just remembered he fucking lives in Minnesota.
I'm surprised because it was the first name I thought this guy would just between like Marcus said, short levers on the movements and his running ability and his cardio. Oof.
I should have called him. Damn it!
I would love to see him trash this thing.
They put this together way too fast, and next time give us a little more time, and we can
like
some monsters there.
Right. Like they still did pretty good considering, like, 10,000 sent all those guys. And like Dylan, like was just with 10,000 for the weekend. Like he's not a 10,000 athlete. He's about to sign a massive Nike contract. Well, I say massive, I don't know, but Nike, but 10,000 grabbed Noah. Like that's who they kind of got. But I talked to Cole. He's like, okay, I'm doing HYROX. And you know, like I always do with these guys or gals, how serious are you taking it? And most of them kind of downplay it, whether they're taking it serious or not. It's like, yeah, whatever. But he's like, no, I'm serious. I've been putting in a ton of volume. I'm like, awesome. So look out for him, everybody, in Chicago.
He told me he's running 60-mile weeks. I said, that's more than me.
Wow.
Did he get his athlete pro card or whatever?
I should tell him. I forgot to say that. Oh man, are we going to talk about that? Or are we going to save that? Oh my God, we forgot about that.
That's entirely.
I'd be very surprised if he was at that level already.
Yes, but I think he'd want to have one, right?
Well, it sounds like it's going to have to be an insurance policy for anybody who's good at all. Like you're just going to have to get a pro card or else you're in trouble, right? You could run a whole race, you could taper for it, be all ready for it, and then you're screwed because you didn't have the pro card, right?
I don't have a pro card. I refuse to conform.
Really?
No,
I'll get it before my next race.
They didn't make you do it already?
Oh, because you didn't run Hamburg, so
I'll have it before my next race.
Okay, I thought you raced Hamburg.
How much does it cost?
I declined that. I want to be able to defer an invite to Phoenix, but I don't think they allow that.
No, you have to make it in that time frame. Yeah. So, and a bunch of times when it happened this weekend. So there was a lot of races in Birmingham. So, because I was looking at it, I had a call with Jake earlier and we were looking at it, and a bunch of times aren't even on there yet. So get out there, folks.
Marcus, what is your objection to the pro card?
I do not have an objection. They just said we don't need it, and I figure I'll just get it once I need it and extend the timeline on it.
And so you got this email. Was that the message to you that you'd better get it?
Yes. Well, the first email they sent out in September, they just said, we strongly encourage you to sign up for this, but you will not need it to qualify until next year. So I figured I will wait until I qualify for a major and then I will get it. But now they say we need to qualify, so I'll get it to qualify.
Alec lives in Austin now, by the way. Didn't know that.
Everybody.
Wait, I did see Alec Blennis on Strava was running around the lakes in Minneapolis on Sunday, so he was in the area actually.
You could have grabbed him.
Crazy. That's crazy. He's blowing up, dude. I don't know. Yeah, let's save the license talk. We're at an hour and a half, which is a nice length for the program. Special, actually live, not so live edition of the show.
It's been a good talk.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks for having me. I invited myself, but thank you.
That's okay. We allow
Good
that
to
once in a
talk
while.
Deadly dozen though, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, hang on.
Marcus needs to do a deadly dozen.
He would be one we would be on our list.
What just happened?
I don't know what list that is, but I hope it's a good one.
We're trying to get all the cool kids to come to the Deadly Dozen so that we all want to go and it's a big party.
You don't have to have a pro card.
Yeah, pro card's not needed.
But
All right. I'm ending